Welcome to Taco Tuesday. We're just having an offline chat that's now become a real line chat. Hey, everybody.
Honestly, it needs to become something other than Taco Tuesday because you guys, you ladies have been so awesome and have contributed so much. It just has to be more than Taco Tuesday. We've got to make it more about White House lawn, McFlip, let's see,
Maybe
Fit Flinger. Fit Flinger. Let's call him Fit Flinger, because an Australian reporter happened to ask him.
I saw that.
Yeah.
He's like,
hey, are you richer now than you were before? You're a nasty person. Quiet. We're gonna go to a war with we're gonna lose the one of the five eyes. Another one.
I was gonna say
we already lost them. By the way, if anybody here is watching from Australia, you guys there's nobody better to party with than Australians. Anytime you are in any bar anywhere in the world and a bunch of rowdy Australians show up, it's gonna be And
dude, I can't hang with Australians. There's no way.
South Africans and Australians, both impossible to hang with. They're both
it's insane. Even when I was a younger man in the Marine, they're like, "You doing all right, Yank?" I'm like, "No."
See, that's the Australian accent. I think is like the hardest because there's so many vowels in one vowel.
Right, 100%.
You know what I mean?
And I spent a month in Melbourne, when I was in grad school. So a friend lived there. And so they said, "Hey, do you want to come over to Australia?" I said, "Yeah, okay, sure." And people were like, they said, "Where are you staying in?" I said, "A place called Laverton." They're like, "Oh, mate, it's so dangerous." I'm like, "What's so dangerous about it?" And they're like, "Well, somebody just got stabbed there a week ago." I was like, "Oh my God, a stabbing? Gasp." I'm an American, and so my friend I was staying with, she was like, "You got to be careful around here." I was like, "Why?" And she says, "A couple people have been stabbed in the last few months." I was like, "Really? Like anything else?"
I know. I'm from an extremely violent country that has mass shootings every other day. So.
I know. And remember, Australia had one mass shooting, and they banned guns.
They were like, "Bye-bye guns."
The Port Arthur massacre. Yep, I think it was 1996. They banned. They had, and so at the time, for those of you who are not aware, so there was it was called the Port Arthur massacre. It was a mass shooting, and Australia had similar gun laws to the United States at the time, and they went in a completely other direction. They basically put out stringent gun laws. Just said, "Nope, we're not doing this." Got them rounded up. And I think it's if you were in the country, you could have it. And then they did a bunch of stuff.
Right.
And violent crime dropped something staggering, 60 to 70%. And suicides dropped by 35%. And it was because, again, it's proven suicides by guns are higher. Whereas with, and Kurt Schechter was talking about this on his on Blue Amp just last week, and he was saying, because one of the things he did was he did gun reform back in the day, and he made a great point where he said, if you take pills or you cut yourself or whatever, there's a chance people can save you.
Yeah, intervention, right?
There's a chance for intervention, whereas with guns, it's over.
Yeah,
and so. This is a long overdue conversation.
I don't want to bring a downer here about Charlie Kirk, but I'm going to say this: if we didn't have such easy access to those kinds of guns, it would have been very hard to kill Charlie Kirk, because if somebody had rushed the stage with a knife, he had protection.
Yeah,
he had security. But if you're 200 yards away, whatever the shooter was, it's almost impossible unless you're the president of the United States and they sweep the roof every time there's a presidential or vice presidential visit. But listen, having worked for members of Congress, having worked for members of the Senate, they don't, and forget people like Charlie Kirk who have private security, you don't sweep that.
No. They're very vulnerable.
And you're super vulnerable. Anybody is. And again, if we didn't have such a proliferation of guns and this alleged shooter And again, I don't want to dwell on. I feel like we've been talking about Charlie Kirk nonstop. So
Well, a lot
need
has changed in the last week since we saw each other.
Yeah, but I feel like when you kind of need a break from that little,
Yeah, that
not
too.
little, yeah.
That
But
really is so true. That's like the truest ish I've heard. Like the world's changed in the past week. It's like,
yeah,
my God. Like,
yeah, the whole world's like Je suis Charlie or whatever it is. You know,
it is. It's just Sweet Charlie again. I know.
Yes,
Including, like, as you pointed out, Michelle, Jamie Lee Curtis, parentheses,
what was
big
that?
liberal. Okay, let me just say this about Jamie Lee
Hold on,
Curtis.
I'm grabbing my laptop. Keep going. Sorry.
Jamie Lee Curtis, who I love,
right.
has been married to my pretend husband, Christopher Guest, for a long time.
Sure.
And if you're a Spinal Tap aficionado, as I am, and if you can,
Or waiting for Guffman, like I am.
yeah,
Yes.
if you can recite every single word of Spinal Tap, and if you cried watching the Spinal Tap sequel from tears of happiness and joy, and I'm not joking, I literally started crying when I was watching it because I was so happy. It is the first movie that I've watched since The Naked Gun in 1988, where I wanted to stay in the theater and watch it again. Um, like, I was so happy, and that's all Christopher Guest and Michael McKean and Harry Shearer and Rob Reiner, but really Christopher Guest is my secret crush. He's married to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
And what is she doing? She's sitting there crying for Charlie Kirk and saying, this is tragic and he was a Christian and she hopes he's with Jesus and all this other stuff. And listen, you can be sympathetic about what happened to Charlie Kirk. Nobody deserves that. Nobody. I don't care who you are. But
She's an actor, though. She's an actor.
Yeah, but she's an
They sensitive, man. They sensitive. They sensitive. Like, that's just how it is, man. Having worked with actors, they sensitive. That's part of their job.
Well, I mean, as
feel.
someone with an acting degree here,
Yes.
yes, but
Uh-oh.
and well, no, I'm just saying, like, we in training, right? In the training, at least that I had, and obviously she grew up in it. Tony Curtis, and her mom being who she was as well. She grew up in that household, and to be the empath, because as an actor, you kind of have to, experience all walks of life in order to tell their story. Because not all, and this is why, I mean, in my opinion, why theater and art and film are so important is because, not everyone can experience everything. And so you look to the storytellers to show you other paths and other struggles of other people around the world. That being said, there comes a point where you have to, like, separate, because I know a lot of actors, yes, who are like crazy pants. But I also know, like, some actors who are like, conspiracy theorists and QAnon and stuff too. I was like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like you have to have a head about yourself. I mean, you'll see Kate Winslet walking around being nutty. Do you know what I mean?
Well, she's married. She's married to some guy with a very interesting last name or first name or something. But keep going.
But it's look. I don't want to say I don't want to say they're crazy. Like, I don't want to use that kind of loaded language.
No, I know, but
I'm fine if it's your profession. You can describe it however you want. Like,
used
for me,
to be. It's not anymore, but yes.
Well, I get you, but I think it's just they're people that feel that's what they do for their job. It's just part of it. And I mean, I just don't want them to be like, what you guys are is you're bastard people, and I'm just gonna go home and just bite my pillow. That was for you, Michelle. A little waiting for Guffman.
No.
Bite my pillow.
Is nobody here a Spinal Tap fan like me?
I'm a Spinal Tap fan, but I just love. You know what I'm gonna do? You're just bastard people.
You're bastard people. But I did find Bonnie a wonderful pantsuit.
I love Spinal Tap. Like, Spinal Tap's hysterical.
Spinal Tap is the end all be all of any comedy movie ever. Anyway,
absolutely.
I also wanted to raise this.
Okay, raise it.
The NFL.
Listen, no one should be surprised by that.
Okay.
What the hell? The NFL had a pregame moment of silence, Thursday Night Football, for Charlie Kirk. And I gotta say, fine, okay, but you're asking a league that is built on the literal backs of Black players
Mhm.
to force them to bow their heads, not just in respect for somebody who was murdered, because people get murdered every single day and there's political violence a
Yep.
lot. And I don't know if they did a moment of silence for Melissa Hortman and her husband.
They
I'm
did
gonna go
not.
out on a limb and say,
I don't remember if they did it for the Tree of Life shooting,
No.
which,
ugh,
by the
no.
way, was ginned up through the Great Replacement Theory,
Oh yeah,
which is what Charlie Kirk espoused,
Mhm.
as
I
well
made
as
an ad about that for in Pennsylvania
yeah.
for the gubernatorial race in 2022. I worked on it with my former boss and Peter Coyote, and like it was like, you know, it was a very powerful thing because I mean, you don't realize, I think in hindsight, and we actually were in touch with one of the rabbis who, knows the families, and we had to really walk a line there to not be overly inflammatory, like politically with what happened. But politics is such a part of what happened. Politics is why it happened. Politics is
Mhm.
because there's such a inflammatory undercurrent of anti-Semitism and violence and hatred, that's just living under the surface of everything that we do in this country now. And it's
Mhm.
I don't know how it's very scary and awful, and it's something that we should be thinking about all the time, but unfortunately we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and I guess the part that's just upsetting to me is that Charlie Kirk just gets all this,
Mhm.
and this is somebody who said awful things, not just about people who play in the NFL,
Mhm.
but also about the vast majority of the people who watch the NFL, whether it's women or people of color or
Hmm.
Jews or you know you name it, everybody.
Yep.
Yep.
Anybody who's not a MAGA adherent, and that's the majority of the country who watches the NFL. And then the New York Post, which apparently has determined that it's going to be the hallway snitch here on all things Kirk related, puts out this. It just infuriated me on the 14th, which was 2 days ago, so right after Sunday Night Football, or
Hmm.
Mhm.
after Sunday Football generally. 6 NFL teams don't pay tribute to Charlie Kirk as others hold moment of silence, and they single out who those 6 are. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
good for the good. By the way, shame on the. I said this before, Michelle, but shame for the New York Giants and the New York
Hmm.
Giants for being one of the people who did, one of the
And
teams
the
that did,
Yankees.
and the Yankees.
Mhm.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I Because if you want to make
Normalizing white
you don't
supremacy.
yeah.
Yeah. Normalizing fascism and trying to cow dissent. I mean, you saw this with Colin Kaepernick because, and I had this argument back then
Hmm.
where they said, well, I said, his freedom of speech is being suppressed. They said, well, no, it's not. He could do it elsewhere. He could do this. So here's the problem. The DoD spends millions of dollars a year to do patriotic displays before
Hmm.
every NFL game. They
Hmm.
contract the NFL and spend millions of dollars specifically for patriotic displays.
Propaganda.
If you are forced to stand, and I'm saying this as a veteran, if
Hmm.
you're forced to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and put your hand over your heart because you're an NFL player, like a lot of these owners make them do, your First Amendment rights are being curtailed. You are forced to engage in a patriotic display. If you take a knee, which Colin Kaepernick was advised by a veteran I met, Nate Boyer, he
Hmm.
was saying, "Hey, I want to do this in a respectful way.
Right.
What's
Quietly.
going quietly and just show that And he just took a knee,
Yep.
and he was
He
called
didn't make
a
a big thing
ba-
out of it. He just did
he
it.
was called a bastard by the president. Like Mike Pence came to one of the games to glower down at the black
And didn't he like
at the
walk
NFL players.
out or
Oh yeah,
something?
he's glaring from the freaking
Yeah.
boxes and everything else. So this doesn't surprise me that this is coming from the NFL, who this is just for them. It's like, oh well, whether Pete Hegseth put this out or they said, the owners are just like, all right, well, we're just going to do this, you know. And for the 6 teams that didn't do it, so what? Who
Yeah.
cares, right?
Hats off
It's
to them.
we have this attempt to deify Charlie Kirk, of all people, is repugnant. I
Mhm.
can say, I don't think he should have been shot.
Of course not.
That's not
No.
how we have that discourse. But when there's a writer on Substack that called Christina Ricci a fascist because all she did on her IG was literally repost the words the man said
Well,
during his
right.
life.
That's what's happening to people across the country being
Yep.
like waking up today and finding out that they've lost their jobs is not because they said anything like, ding dong, Charlie Kirk's dead. Like that, it wasn't even anything like that. It's like, you know, he shouldn't have been shot, but he also was a white supremacist.
Right.
White supremacist. What was it? I forget her name from the Washington Post, Julie. Who
Karen
Yeah. All she did
lost
is
her
say
job.
like white men. That's all she said, and they were like, bye.
Right.
Fired.
And that is all to curtail actual dissent, because when things start to go off the rails and they start to get bad, and they're going to make you believe, oh, it's Democrats. But the
Yep.
Democrats didn't put tariffs in place. Hell, Congress didn't do it. You did it, Trump. You did it without the approval. Well, no, it was Democrats. They did it. Because he's going to have somebody he needs to blame when the farms start going under.
Mhm.
When things start, and he's already got money invested in companies that are betting against them. Right?
Well, yeah,
There's
JD Vance, didn't he invest in a
Acre
company
Trader.
that's like buys up bankrupt farms or something like that?
So this
Yep.
is the 2000. Listen, this is what led to the 2008 financial crash, right?
Mhm.
They bet against mortgages. They securitize them into junk bonds, and then they resell those.
Yeah, the credit
Mortgage
default swaps.
Yeah,
And
credit default swaps, mortgage-backed securities, which
Mhm.
were
Big Short, a great movie if you
yeah,
haven't seen it.
yeah. So, I mean, now I guess people are still doing it with the farms. We learn nothing. The big secret of the 2008 crisis is, we remember too big to fail. Now
Mhm.
these banks are even bigger, so they're
Yep.
even more too big to fail.
And they all got money on their way out, like Robert Fold from Lehman, right? He
Yeah.
left with a huge chunk of change. Like all these people, and like nobody went to jail. Not one person.
Nobody went to jail, which I think was the big problem for Obama, and I think that's the biggest mistake of Obama's administration, is that he did
Yep.
not throw a hostage on the tarmac to show that he was
Mhm.
serious about holding somebody accountable.
Mhm.
And anyway, not to get too heavy for Taco Tuesday, other than to say that it is kind of fascinating, if I weren't living it, and I guess if I were studying
Yeah.
this from a historical perspective, to watch how quickly everything collapsed this week, including our media,
Mhm.
which
Oh, yeah.
which I
God,
have
yeah.
to say, because I have to point this out, I'm going to read this out loud. Jonathan Karl of ABC News asked Trump today. He
Mhm.
said, you're talking about, Pam Bondi said that she's going to shut down hate speech, but which a lot of even your supporters are saying is not legal.
Mhm.
To which Trump said, well, maybe she's going to go after people for hate speech, even though, your own supporters don't agree with that. What do you say about that? To which Trump said something along the lines of, maybe she should go after you for treating
Mhm.
me so unfairly. You have a lot of
Mhm.
hate in your heart. And then he went into, well, of course, your network already paid me $16 million.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll do it again because you have a lot of hate in your heart and you treat me so unfairly. Basically implying that he's going to have Pam Bondi go after Jonathan Karl.
What a baby! Like I'm
So-
sorry. Like I know it's scary, but like, oh my god.
So, yes, I mean, the same people that bitched and complained about being snowflakes, with the
They
liberals
need
being
their safe
snowflakes.
space, Julie.
Yeah,
They
safe
need their safe
spaces, right?
space.
They Like, if this were any other timeline other than the dystopian one we're living in, this would be the biggest scandal
Mhm.
of the century. That
Yeah.
Donald Trump is effectively suggesting that his independent Justice Department, which nobody's pretending, including him, is independent any longer,
Oh, yeah.
is going to go after a reporter for asking him not even a tough question. Like, just, hey, like, what do you think about her saying this? And your supporters don't seem to agree with her, for treating him so unfairly.
Mhm.
Because you, Jonathan Karl, have a lot of hate in your heart.
Mhm.
So if Jonathan Karl has hate in his heart, anybody can have hate in their heart. You know how you know that? Because you can't really see what's in somebody's heart.
Mhm.
So anybody can be accused of having hate in their heart.
Mhm.
Yep.
Anybody.
Well, yeah, and there was a guy who once said, "There is no such thing as hate speech in America. There's gross speech, there's ugly
Right.
speech, but there's no such thing as hate speech." That was Charlie
Mhm.
Kirk.
Yep. Mhm.
So, eh, this is all to cow the establishment media from
Mhm.
asking tough questions. And the New York Times that's done this, well, both sides and this
Yeah, and
faux
then he got
objective
slapped
stuff.
with a $15 billion
15
lawsuit
billion.
the other night. So how's that working out?
It's a
Do you know what I mean?
he's gonna demand that they pay him a bribe. By the way, the Times, I
Hmm.
think, unlike all these others, the Times is not, I don't think, is gonna cave because the Times is owned by the Sulzberger family. They're not
I hope
owned by
not.
some corporate behemoth that's looking for mergers. So I can't imagine A.G. Sulzberger, who's now the publisher, going for this. If they do, that's it. I mean, that really is it, because it doesn't surprise me with ABC. Disney had mergers at
Oh,
times.
yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me with Paramount, obviously with CBS. Doesn't surprise me with CNN because Warner Brothers wants to get sold to Larry Ellison, or is about to get sold to Larry. Like, none of this surprises me. But if the Times, just keep an eye on the Times, because if the Times collapses on this, it really will be time to leave. Seriously, because that's that. So yeah.
I gotta say, so we could shift a little bit from the heavy stuff. You guys cursed me last
Oh
week.
no. Why?
Yes, you did. So, as you know, I am an educated man, one who understands the Roman Empire, and
Oh boy.
we
Oh
talked
boy.
about Caesar's commentaries on Gaul.
You
Because,
talked about Caesar's commentaries on Gaul.
well, yes, because it's relevant, Julie. And so, for
Okay.
those of you who did not tune in last week, there was an article that where I can't remember the woman's name, but basically she said she found men who read in public places very suspect, and then
Mhm.
she would, and they use it to pick up women. And so I said that I would read. I wouldn't be pretentious in reading the original of Caesar's commentaries on Gaul in the original Latin. That I would read it in the English version. So then I went to yoga, right
Oh, no.
down the hill. All right, and what do I see? A young woman who was walking in the studio ahead of me, and she had a tattoo, was a Vini Vici, Vidi, I came, I saw, I conquered.
Yeah, vidi
And
vidi vici.
immediately I said,
Yes.
"Oh," I said, "I love your tattoo. That's from Caesar when he conquered Britain."
Yes.
And she looked at me like I was insane.
Well, then she
So,
doesn't deserve you.
well, listen,
Did she know what it meant?
yeah, I came, I saw, I conquered, but she probably
Well,
didn't know who
wait,
said
wait,
it,
wait.
and and
All
and,
right.
and who under the context,
Listen, sometimes
right?
people get tattoos of things and they don't know what they mean.
In fairness to
Correct.
my friend Frederic Poag here,
Yeah.
if this woman, this dope, has now decided to make a lifelong commitment into the
Yeah.
phrase vini vidi vici,
Yes.
and she does not know what it's about or
Listen.
where it came from, then she not only does not deserve you, she does not deserve that tattoo.
Well, I do want to clarify, because I do not want to besmirch this woman who I don't know. I might have just startled her because I was so excited, like a puppy seeing their,
Like a
they're
puppy seeing
loving.
Latin for the first
Yes,
time.
it's just like, oh wow, it's like, and I just blurted it out. So I feel like I was ambushed by the topic that I selected for us to talk about, you know,
Okay.
and as a man, I can't take the blame myself. So, unfortunately, this will be some more that you women have to take the blame for, because I cannot take personal responsibility for my own decisions. Yeah, so that's where we're at. You cursed me. It's your fault, not
So,
mine.
do you think if she had instead turned to you and said, "Oh my God, that was from Caesar's conquering of the British Islands," because
I
I
would have been
thought
immediately Googling
no, no, no,
flights
no, no, no,
to
no,
Las
no.
Vegas for
No,
marriage.
she had said to you, I didn't realize that was from Caesar conquering the British Islands. I thought that was from him going after, I don't know, Cicero or somebody.
It wasn't
Not,
Cicero. It
not
might have been
Cicero, not Cicero. Oh God,
Pompey.
who Pompey, Pompey
I
Magnus,
I
Pompeius
I
Magnus.
I think it might have been in the you might be right. It might have been in when he fought, because it's not Cannae. I know the battle. I can't remember the battle's name, but basically that's where the phrase "burn the boats" came from. because Caesar's.
No, no. I'm not
Yeah.
debating. I'm not debating you as to
No,
where the
you might
praise
be
came
right.
from.
Like you,
I
might
don't.
be. It
I'm not
might not be
suggesting I
written.
am right. I'm just saying if she had actually known her cesarean
Oh yeah.
battles,
Oh
and if
yeah.
she had said, "Oh, I didn't realize. I thought that was from when he went after Pompey Magnus in Egypt."
Oh,
Chasing to Egypt.
I wouldn't be on here.
We'd
I'd be
be getting
picking
like
out
wedding invites
bassinets
right
with
now.
her. Yeah, I'd be picking out bassinets with her. We wouldn't even be doing the show, right? We'd be done. We'd be like organizing DIY projects for the weekend. We'd be at Home Depot.
I feel like you need to start hanging out in like. Well, this is creepy because they're all underage, so I wouldn't say that. I feel like you need to start hanging out and like learn the Latin department at some university. I feel like your soulmate. I feel like your soulmate is somewhere in the Latin 301 like section. That way they're like juniors, seniors. I mean, still young, but like
Very
know,
young.
very young. But at least I was gonna say my son is now
Yeah.
studying Latin in the 8th grade, so I was about to say they should have start hanging
No,
out.
no.
But then I realized that's
And
really
he
disgusting.
would be much closer to a junior in
Well,
college
I
than
That's
any
true.
of us.
listen. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. I have various interests. So it's really it's just educated, feminist. That's progressive. That's pretty much where I line up. You
So
know,
why
everything
don't
else
you
is
just
bonus.
go to Boulder? What are you doing in Denver? Just take a ride to Boulder and go hang out.
That's true. I could do that. But I mean, listen. I mean, that's a 2022 That's a 2026 project. That's down the road a piece. We got to build up to it. There's
We got to
group.
get through spooky season. There's
Well, yeah.
clinical
There's
season.
we're right in the middle of focus testing right now, and
Mhm.
so we're gonna do a soft Frederic relaunch in
Okay.
somewhere
Oh,
in Q2 of 2026.
Okay.
So we're kind of testing the market right now to see what the feasibility is of a Frederick relaunch.
well,
Mm.
I mean, this could be a good qualitative research study. What are we looking here? What are our options here for this relaunch?
So I mean, I'm thinking more of like dad bod kind of Coloradian, or flannels. We're gonna have to get the beard kind of straightened out to get it less poofy. You know, I think the hair is fine. But like, um, I'm doing well on the cooking. The DIY I need a little boost there. So we're doing some
Michelle could
remedial
do that.
classes. All that good
Mhm.
stuff. Right.
Mhm.
Um.
You know who's got a good beer game going if you need some some inspiration?
Yep.
The guy from Gilded Age.
Okay. I'll have to take a look
Oh,
at
the
it.
lead
George
guy?
George Russell. George
Oh,
Russell from the
yeah,
Gilded
he's
Age.
George
great.
Russell.
George Russell from the Gilded Age.
That is not a bad. That's not a bad name. I mean, for two first names, it's a pretty good combo.
No, you didn't watch the Gilded Age?
Oh, well, see, no, you have to have a girlfriend to watch The Gilded Age if you're a single guy.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Well,
No, yeah, it's true. You can't. No, like when you go and you put it on the streamer, it asks for your info, and it's like you are obviously a single man. You can't watch this. So then you have to have a girlfriend, and then it's like the parental blockers, but you just can't watch it.
did you
You know.
watch Downton Abbey? Or was that a girl?
Again, it's the single man
You're
blocker.
missing out. You're depriving
You're
yourself
really
of
missing
joy.
out.
It's not my fault. It's on the TV. There's nothing I can do. It's like
It's
all
like
I have is
in the
NFL, Reacher on Amazon, and the Terminal List. I'm allowed to watch that.
Okay.
What
Um,
about Only Murders in the Building?
it's
I've never
Steve
watched that.
Martin. Yeah, it's Steve,
So good.
or it's Martin Short and Steve Martin. So yeah, I can watch it.
I
Yeah,
think you
Okay.
could watch that. I think
you
It's
I
know
think
like
that's
one of my favorites. The fact that
the
it's
only
back right now is bringing me so much happiness.
the
I've
only
actually never watched
barrier
it.
to entry is I have to do like in order to unlock it, you've got to do a Steve Martin bit, and I always do the one with him and Dan Aykroyd. You know,
Which one? Wild and
Wild
Crazy
and Crazy
two
Guy.
wild and
Guys.
crazy guys.
I think not King Tut.
King Tut. Oh,
Uh,
yeah, I
Oh,
remember that
could
one.
have
dude,
won
I
a
love King
Grammy.
Tut.
Yeah.
Um,
You know,
I think that even if you don't want to watch The Gilded Age, you should check out George Russell.
Mhm.
Just Google him. Check
What's
out
his real? What's his real?
I forgot his real name, but you should check out his beard action because I think that's a good
so
look.
George Russell. I'm gonna check George
George
Russell.
Russell is the character.
His real
Okay,
name is Morgan Spector.
Yeah.
let's go with George Russell. Let's just
I
call him
think
in.
yeah, just
Morgan.
check out George Russell.
Can we?
It's a
His name is Morgan Spector.
Mhm.
yeah.
I think Spector Morgan would have been better. You know, that
That sounds like
sounds
a
like
law
an
firm.
Inspector. Well,
Doesn't
he
it sound
was
like a law
also
firm?
in Homeland. He was also in the Plot Against America, which was great.
He was in
Um,
Homeland? Who was he in Homeland?
I don't know. It says first gained recognition for his roles in Homeland.
I don't remember him in Homeland.
You know, so this is bringing up a good point. Okay, so like, because we're talking about like, because here's the thing. Let's say, you know, Julie has expressed that you love spending time with your husband, right?
Who, me?
I do.
Or
Yeah,
you?
well, you too, Michelle. It's like
Oh.
you both.
Michelle seemed
So,
surprised. She's like, me?
well, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know Julie
Michelle
said
also
that.
loves spending time with my husband because she
Oh,
and my
yeah, I
husband
do.
had this whole bonding session this past week.
Yeah, you went out to go get the sushi and we had scotch. It was great.
Yeah, Michelle got bond with my husband while I was out getting food.
How long were you gone? Like,
You know what? Long enough for them to really bond. And my husband is now a humongous fan of Michelle Kinney. Like,
Oh, that's so
well,
loves
you
nice.
know,
her.
I mean, it is New York. It's like things move fast in New York, from what I'm told. You know, it's like
Mhm.
you're not it's not like you're having sipping scotch. So,
Well, I was over. I
No.
was over at Julie's when the whole Charlie Kirk thing happened. We were having a meeting about other work stuff, and it happened, and then it just kind of turned into a whole day because my husband was traveling, and I was like, "This is just too weird of a day. I don't want to go home." And so Julie
I was like,
and
let's
her
have
husband were
sushi.
very nice to invite me to stay. It was very nice.
I see Michelle just like grabbing like 6 shots and just lining them up like a
She
pro.
doesn't
And
have
going,
to grab
all
6
right,
shots.
buddy,
My husband
we got to knock this out real quick and just
No, my husband poured
doing
the
the perfect
equivalent.
Yeah,
pour.
he's like, "Do you want?" Well, actually, Julie, you were like, "Do you want a drink?" And I was like,
I know, but then my husband pours her a drink, and it was like the equivalent of 6 shots in one.
"Yeah,
He
it
just
was
gave her like
like
this humongous thing of scotch. It
like
was great.
4 fingers, like
There
of
you go.
scotch."
Atta girl.
We don't
Yeah.
skimp here. We don't skimp here in this house.
No, I went home and I
You
was
know,
like, "Ugh."
so what kind of scotch are we talking about? Like what brand?
I don't know what it was. Was it a
Label.
Glenlivet, a Glenfiddich?
Oh no, it was
Any
Glen.
Glen will do.
I think it was Glen. I can't. Is Johnny
Is it
Walker a
brown?
Scotch or is that a bourbon? No, I think
Well,
it's Glen
it
Well,
really is. I mean, the question is it brown or clear? Was it brown or clear?
Brown.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So it's a good scotch. Yeah. So,
As
I
opposed
mean,
to.
if it was
as opposed to-
me, there we go.
Oh, do you know that I got so sick doing shots of Old Crow when I was 16
oh,
You
that I
girl.
still that I still to this day cannot
is that like
smell
fancy
It's all
stuff?
crow,
That
though.
sounds like very adult for. I mean, when
Old
I got
Crow.
caught drinking when I was 16.
Old Crow is like the cheapest crap you
Is
can
it?
get.
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I
you don't want to
know.
mess with that. Not at 16.
No,
And
Well,
it's the
I
only
got.
thing,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
it's the only thing we get our hands on. And I challenged
See,
my
that's the
friend.
problem.
I challenged my friend, who I will only refer to by his first 2 initials, J.A., who was a Frederick-sized young man, to a drinking contest. And
really?
and I haven't checked on where he is now. Last I checked, he was a pretty high up guy at the Justice Department. But back then, he was my drinking buddy, and it was a party, and we could only get our hands on this bottle of Old Crow, and we started doing shots. And he did pass out first, but I got so sick, they were debating whether to take me to the hospital to get my stomach pumped, but then they were afraid of getting busted by parents, so nobody even did that.
Right.
So I was so sick that to
Just
this
lay you on
day,
your stomach. Yeah.
like, I literally woke up and had like mounds of like newspapers around me.
Oh my
on the couch.
god.
But it was gross. It was disgusting. And so to this day, I still cannot smell anything brown. Scotch, whiskey,
Really?
except for
Mhm.
tequila, which is a different situation.
No.
But
I
Yeah,
can't
that's like
do-
a
I-
whole different
Yeah.
plant. It's a different
Can't
everything.
do it.
I can't do tequila. Like
Mm,
tequila.
I like the
Tequila.
good tequila. I
I'm
like the
good with
good.
tequila. I love tequila. I'm good
Any
with
clear
tequila.
liquor, I can't. Vodka, I stay away from.
We did those shots of tequila at the Webbies. We were like, let's
Yes.
do shots. And we talked because usually at these open bar things, like they don't really like give you shots, but we went and asked and they were like, okay. So I asked Julie, I was like, what do you want to do? And she said tequila. So we got all these shots of Patron and it was you, me,
Jim Acosta.
Tara, and Jim Acosta.
Jim
Like
Acosta.
shooting tequila.
Jim
And that
Acosta was so much fun to party with that night.
he was so fun. I am such a huge Jim Acosta fan.
We
I
love Jim
love him. What
Acosta.
a nice person too.
Yeah.
I told this story on Kimberly Johnson's podcast like a while ago. So I have why I do not mix liquor story that happened in where was it? It was St. Kitts It was one of the Virgin Islands. It was one of them. So I go down. We go on. My buddy hits me up and he says, "Hey, he's a lawyer in Tennessee. He's like, my boss has a timeshare. You want to go down? Let's party it up, right?" Like, okay. And so we go down there, and we're in this bingo class, because my buddy's girlfriend's like, "Oh, they're doing a bingo class. I want to go." He didn't want to go. I said, "I'll
A
go with you."
class?
Yes, on how to play bingo and how to play poker, right?
Is there a strategy to
Poker
play
makes
bingo?
more sense, but I'm like,
No,
this
but
is
it's
just
but I
like
mean, you've got like
public
people who are
bingo.
like, "Oh, this is fun," blah blah blah. So she wanted to go.
Okay.
She's like, "I've
Yeah.
never played bingo," like,
Yeah.
let's go. I was like, all right. So the guy was teaching the class. We had a mixer like that night. He was serving the drinks, right? And I talked to him. And so he goes, "Hey man, it's an open bar. Get whatever you want." I'm like, "Dope." He says, "How many do you want?" I said, "Well, I got 2 hands. Let's give me 2 drinks." Right? All right. So he's like, "What do you want?" I said, "Let's do vodka cranberry and Jack and Coke." Right? I know. So I get both of them. Now, what I hadn't counted on was I was also dehydrated from being in the Caribbean. So I think, and this guy was making them pretty strong. So I'd say about 3 or 4 shots per. I had a total of 6 of those in 30 minutes, right? Because I
Whoa.
was thirsty, right? So I'm just, and he's feeding me, And so I'm chilling. They had a band. It's starting to strike up. And there was this guy who I later learned is a personal trainer. He's there with his wife. Okay, they just got married. He doesn't want to dance. I'm now lit enough to where I'm dancing. So she starts dancing with me, right?
Okay.
So I'm dancing with this woman, blah blah blah, and it's like I pull her out to let her do the spin, and literally, I swear to God, like right on cue as she goes full out, everything started to slow down. Like it all hit at once, right? And it's like literally I swear to God, it's like straight out of a movie, right? And so thus begins I think I did like at least 8 trips to the bathroom that night. I was still standing, you know.
Yeah. See,
Of just
I get nauseous very easily.
like just bam,
Yeah.
like purging. And so I keep going back out, but I'm not drinking anymore. I'm just trying to survive at this point, right? But I'm still on my feet. I'm still talking to people. I'm still dancing.
I don't know how. I don't know how.
Well, my buddy introduces me, says, "Hey, Fred, come over and meet Vivian. She owns the resort," right? So I come over to meet her, and her face is aghast. She goes, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I slurred out and I said, "It's okay, ma'am. I'm a United States Marine. I'll be all right." It's good to meet you. I went back on my way. Now, the fact that I remember this all was totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you're able to kind of put all this back together is
I have
impressive.
I have a theory though.
Yes.
I have a theory that you can't mix hard liquor and anything sugary.
You shouldn't even mix brown and
Oh
clear.
God,
Don't
no,
do it.
no,
So
no,
my
no.
point is, when you're doing,
No.
what were you doing? You were doing Jack and Coke, already a bad decision because the Coke is sweet,
And
and
vodka
doing
cranberry.
and
I
cranberry,
made every wrong decision you could
cranberry
make.
juice is sweet. I know it's tart, but it's got sugar in it. Can't
I
do the
made every
sugar.
wrong decision you could make.
Yeah.
The only exception I make for that is old fashions
Old fashions are,
and
yeah.
All right. Yeah.
and Manhattans, which are
Okay.
like the 2 things that I drink all the time.
Yes.
It was actually old fashions were the specialty cocktail at my wedding.
Nice.
Yeah,
Do you
and
know what?
that and gimlets.
You know what? I'll make an exception too. And my favorite drink, which Michelle has seen me pound, although not by pound,
Not recently.
not recently, is called an aviation, and it's so good, and it's comprised of every ingredient that I hate, but put together, it's really good.
Oh, it's amazing. Aviations are great.
You know what I'm
Like,
talking about, right? They're so good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
they're very
hate
good.
gin, but I love aviations. They're
Yeah,
so
I'm
good.
Yeah,
looking
that's the only gin
gin,
drink
lemon
I'll
juice.
actually drink. Yeah,
Gin,
I don't
lemon
like
juice,
gin.
maraschino liqueur, creme de violette.
Yeah, all of that is disgusting on its own. Mixed together, mwah, amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful. So I heard of this thing this week, and I wanted to ask you guys about it. So apparently, There's a
Red
thing
Bull and
called
vodka. Sorry,
there's
Damon in the comments. Red Bull and vodka were popular in 2005. Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
And that was
Yes, they were.
them times were rough.
Yes. Oh, yes, they were. I
I
got
had
no
one of
sleep.
those. It was the worst hangover I ever
It was
had.
the worst night of sickness. I
Oh
actually
my God.
slept in, didn't go to my job in the morning, and I got fired because
Oh.
because of Red Bull. It was like a bar job, so it wasn't like a huge deal, but like that happened to me. So, anyways, continue.
Well, I only had good experiences, but keep going.
Oh, okay. So there's apparently there's a thing called girl dinner. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
are aware.
Girl dinner.
I don't know what girl
Yeah.
dinner is. What is girl dinner?
Yeah.
It's okay. So, girl dinner is. I'm sure there's more of an official definition, but it's like the stuff that we eat when we're by ourselves for dinner that really aren't dinner. It would be like crackers and like a cheese stick and maybe like a scoop of ice cream. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then that would be
Okay.
girl dinner.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
I feel like it's like it is probably like the most random charcuterie board
Yeah.
that can be thrown together, but it's in your stomach. So like little pickles,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely a pickle. Always a pickle.
possibly like a Splenda packet that was in the packet drawer.
Mhm.
Some
You know.
snackables. I'm looking here
Yeah.
at the AI. What the AI Google thing is telling me. Girl dinner refers to a casual, no fuss meal of snacks and small appetizers assembled without formal recipe, often resembling a charcuterie board and snack plate. Frederic, popularized by on TikTok by user Olivia Marr. The trend is about low effort, joyful experience, eating what you want when you're by yourself, making it a relatable phenomenon. But for many women, while some view it as a healthy pushback against diet culture, others express concerns about its potential to promote disordered eating
Wait
due
a
to the
second.
prevalence of sparse and low
This is like
nutrient snack.
a dinner party you invite people to comprising of these things, or this is just what we eat when we're
Just
by
what you
ourselves?
have by yourself. So, like for instance, when my husband's not here and it's just me, I won't cook just for myself. I just
Yeah.
won't do it. So I'm like, okay, what do I have here? All right, I've got crackers. Let me put some crackers, maybe some like deli meat, maybe a couple peppers. I'll put some mustard on it, a little hummus, and then maybe like a cookie.
That's
Okay.
better
That's
than
girl
me.
dinner.
For
Can I tell you what I
dinner.
had today? I can tell
Yeah.
you about girl dinner. I have girl lunch
You're
every
like, I
day.
got girl lunch, I got girl
I got
breakfast.
girl breakfast. This is literally what I had today, and pretty much the variation of this every day. So I woke up. I decided to go to Starbucks because I'm too lazy to make coffee myself. So I decided to pay $6
But
for a
also, you
cup
know
of
what though?
coffee.
It gets you out of the house. That's my feeling about that too. But keep going.
True. Then I walked home. I had my Starbucks. Then I had a those little like Italian sausage things.
Okay.
I might like they're gross. You put them in the microwave. Actually, they're
Oh, you
very good.
mean Vine a sausage?
No,
Trying
no,
to
no.
get out of a can? You know.
No. Like
Yeah,
like
what
See,
are
my
you talking
southern's
about?
coming out now. It's like you
it was
get
in
the
my
Vienna sausage.
it was in my fridge. You basically
Sausage.
Vienna. You basically throw it in the microwave and you have it. Then
Okay.
I
I don't know
had
what you're talking about.
yeah, I'll show you. Then I had like 2 Chips Ahoy that my husband buy. I don't like Chips Ahoy, but I felt like something sweet.
Yeah, just take the dip.
And then I had some bolognese sauce that I made because I made pasta bolognese yesterday. That was not refrigerated, I might add, that I left overnight on my stovetop. And I must add that I did not have pasta with it. I just ate the sauce with a spoon out of the pot.
Well, I mean,
And
soup.
and now it's almost 4 p.m. and I'm I'm in good shape. That's what I had.
Dig it.
That
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think guys have girl dinner. Guys have bachelor chow. Like,
What's
you know,
that?
that's what we do. Bachelor chow could be anything. It's kind of like girl dinner, but the thing is just like throw things together, right? And you know, you basically what you do is you just so like if you have rice, right? Say leftover rice, you're like, all right, I'm gonna do faux stir fry, right? So you throw the rice in there. Um, you can maybe put a little oil in it, you know, uh, grab some chicken if you got it, or pork or whatever. You throw that in there, crack open mixed vegetables, you know, throw an egg on it and hot sauce. There you go, bachelor chow.
That
But
seems like a
you
lot
know
of
what
work.
though? That actually just sounds like repurposing leftovers, which is actually
Yeah.
very
That's what it is. That's
economical
all
and good.
that's all
Yeah.
bachelor chow really is.
Yeah.
Usually it involves it could involve canned meat or canned vegetables. You're repurposing vegetables. You throw it all on a skillet because, look, you only got one pan to clean, and that's it. And 9 times out of 10, if you're going to put something in a skillet, you could throw egg on it and you're good. And then hot sauce, which is from my military days where it's just like, hot sauce fix anything. No.
That's
Like,
true.
remember,
And this is
Hot
why I love
sauce is great.
shakshuka too. This is why I like shakshuka too, is because of like
But shakshuka's the best.
so good. The veg, the peppers, and then you crack that. And again,
oh, my
one
God.
pan.
Oh, yeah, shuka's great. It's good stuff.
So good. So
Yeah.
You
good.
know,
I am a
like,
shakshuka expert. If you ever want me to make you shakshuka, I'm your girl.
Do you ever have it
oh,
in
100%.
Israel? I heard it's
Yes.
like the best over there. It's like so
You know
good.
what? Yes, but it's not as spicy.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I like it. I like it super spicy. So I got
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's gotta burn the back of my eyeballs off.
Middle East
You know.
really does have the best hummus though. It's like unparalleled.
Mhm.
Like, you can't have I've had it in Egypt, I've had it in Israel, I've had it like it's so good. So
But let me ask you, we almost missed it. I want to circle back to this. It's like both of you guys like your husbands. We talked about shows. So sit down. What's a show that is a green, like husband says, let's watch this. It's a green light. Or what show is like, let's watch this. And you're like, I don't think so. And like, you want to shift to something else, or does it not matter?
So my husband does not have the first clue about shows. So
Okay.
I'm the one who's like, let's watch this. And he'll be like, okay, I've never heard of that. Like The White Lotus. And you're like, really? You've never heard of that? Like, he's just not in that. Like, he's not he's not
listening.
he's not a pop culture kind of guy. So he doesn't
Yeah.
really get stuff. So what my husband does is he is a cable news junkie. So he toggles back between CNN and MSNBC. And I'm like, oh my God, can we please turn this
Painful.
off?
Painful.
And his whole thing is, well, you do this all day long, and I practice law all day long, so I don't, so he doesn't, so he subjects me to that. The night of the Charlie Kirk shooting, he subjected me to 3 hours of Fox so we could see, and I quote, what the enemy is saying. And I said to him, but I know what they're saying. I used to work there. I could tell you 30 seconds in advance of them opening their mouth what they're going to say.
Yeah. I will say the stuff that Jesse Waters was saying, I think it was last night, was terrifying.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But I could have told you that he was going to say it.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
And like, I don't need to watch it. I know what he's going to say. But nevertheless, he does not believe me, even though he knew me when I worked at Fox. So I don't know why he doesn't believe me. But he made me watch it. And then basically I'm like, can we please turn off MSNBC and CNN? And he will say no. So unless there's a good show to watch, I am forced to watch those shows with him.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Or, I mean, I would say with my husband, like, again, I'm the one who grew up on movies and musicals and stuff. And so, like, when I first met my husband, I was listening to this singer on my iPod, and it was just happened to be Judy Garland's niece. And I was like, oh, this is Judy Garland's niece. Isn't she amazing? And Joe was like, Joe goes, who's that? Who's Judy Garland? That's who I'm dealing with. Do you know what I'm saying?
Really?
So, oh, yes. No idea. And so Julie Andrews, forget it. But anyways, but I do love movies and I love watching TV. It's like, people who shame people for watching TV, I'm like, don't do that, because TV is awesome and it's a great escape and we learn lots.
Yeah.
So, but I will say my husband likes to get really into a show and then binge the whole thing. So like during COVID, we watched all 11 seasons of Cheers.
Yes. Awesome.
It was
Great
great.
show. Great show.
And then we watched Frasier, obviously.
Not a fan.
Well, and then, Succession.
that was such a diss. Oh my God.
Okay. Whatever you got to do. I mean, I disagree.
Oh my God. That wasn't just a diss. That was like a, okay.
I love how Michelle just stopped cold and consider it. And she's like, well, all right. Go fuck yourself,
Yeah, that was totally it. It wasn't even a go fuck yourself. It was like, I mean, if you're just going to be that moron, like, I'm not going to waste my time debating you, but okay. Anyway, proceed. We disagree. We disagree on Kelsey Grammer. Go. No, we don't disagree on Kelsey.
Listen, hate's a strong word. I don't like Kelsey Grammer. I also know people who've worked with Kelsey Grammer. He's kind of a douche. But it's, but the show is really great. And what's his face? Oh my God, why am I blanking?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
I
about.
remember
David
this
Hyde
show.
Pierce. David Hyde
I,
Pierce is a wonderful person. So
I swear to God, this is forever etched in my brain. Forever. Is so Kelsey Grammer was in this. He was the voice in this animated show. I think it was one season called. I think it was Gary the Rat, where he played a lawyer who got turned into a literal rat. Right. And so he's at a law firm, and his boss wants him to get married. And so the only woman who would date him is a Orthodox Jewish woman who was divorced, right? And so apparently the character had 7 kids. And so Gary goes up to, he's like, "Well, I do have one prospect, sir." And he's like, "All right, well," and of course his boss is a loudmouth southerner with a cigar. And he says, "Well, she has 7 kids." And his boss goes, "Jesus Christ, someone tell her it's a vagina, not a clown car." It's like, I will remember that forever. It's etched in my brain.
I wonder how
Okay.
much he got paid for that. Honestly, you
Yeah.
have to watch.
It was an animated show. I think it was like, well, I don't want. Maybe it was after Frasier ran, or I
Right. And
can't.
think about it. If after Frasier,
Yeah,
he was like on top of the world coming from 2 hit shows, and he was probably
yeah.
given a large sum of money to do animation. That's what I'm saying.
Oh
Like voice actors
God, yeah.
And
already,
it's
I'm just
super,
saying.
super, super easy to do if
Oh
you're
yeah. You don't have to
yeah.
get. You
Yeah,
don't
I
have to get a
mean, yeah.
makeup
Yeah.
wardrobe. You know. You don't.
Yeah, you don't have to like present yourself. You just kind of
You
show
can
up.
walk into the booth with pajamas and you're good to
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So
Um,
yeah,
but I will say the other shows like that we are, have become part of. This sounds so corny, but like part of who we are.
yeah.
Mad Men was like the big one.
Mad Men is a fantastic.
Like
So you
when
want
we
to know a
were.
secret? I've never seen Mad Men.
Oh my
You
God.
know what? You're a reader, so you should watch Mad Men. And I'm totally serious about that because Mad Men is a book, like a
Yeah, it's
book on
very
television.
I've heard it.
It's
I've seen
it's
clips of it. I've
it's
seen parts.
slow.
It's really good.
It
slow, but
unfolds.
it's.
It unfolds like a book. It's
Mhm,
got so many subtleties that you'd only pick up if you were a reader. Like it's
mhm.
just a book on television. I don't know how else to
Yeah,
describe it.
and it's shot so beautifully, and there's
Yeah.
so many full circle Easter eggs, from between season 2 and season 4 and things like that. I've watched it through probably 4 or 5 times at
Yeah.
this point. But like speaking of our wedding and our specialty cocktails, and I've got a thing on my wall. I'll show you at some point. We had the Don Draper Old Fashioned and the Betty
Uh,
Draper Gimlet at our wedding, so that was the big thing.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
But
Yeah.
the other thing, is The Americans. The Americans was, like, the other big show.
never
I haven't
finished
seen that one
watching the
either.
end of it.
No, I never watched The Americans. No.
Never. I watched it. Never finished watching it.
I also love Matthew Rhys. I like him a lot.
The
Yeah.
last show I watched was Jack Reacher. So
Never watched it.
Alan Richardson's great in that. Like I just rewatched Charlie Wilson's War, which is one of my favorite
Oh,
movies.
great. Yeah, Aaron
I
Sorkin's
love
screenplay. Aaron
it.
Sorkin's
I think it's
screenplay.
his best work. I think that's his best work because he
I'd
like
say Social Network is up there for me too. Hit the right across
yeah,
the
he
network
he
was
nailed
excellent.
just how I love the scene where Philip Seymour Hoffman is in the office with the guy who was in Mad Men. I'm trying to remember the actor's name.
Yeah,
Um,
John Slattery plays
yeah,
Roger
so he's in there with
Sterling.
John Slattery
I
and
named my cat after him.
You named your
eh,
cat after John Slattery?
Well, yeah, his name's Sterling.
oh,
Oh. Do you
Yeah.
know
I'm
that
gonna
John
pretend
Slattery?
I'm gonna pretend you named him after Sterling Archer. So
Oh,
sure.
No,
No,
John
I'm kidding.
Slattery used to live when I lived downtown, used to live somewhere near me because he would take his son to school right around the corner from my house. We'd always go to the same coffee place in the morning, and he was the nicest. It was
Yeah, I mean,
at the height of Mad Men, and he was so nice. He's married to Clooney's ex-wife. That's the mother.
yes, who's also in Mad Men,
Was also in Mad Men.
and plays his wife or his
Yeah.
ex-wife in the show. And it's funny because I guess it was last year at the Webbies, he was there,
Yeah.
and Tara like knows what a big fan I am, and she's like, "Go say hi." I'm like, "I am not that person. I am a New York person. I do not say hello
I'm
to
a New
people
York
in fan ways." And like, no, because I'm like would rather meet someone like as a
Yeah.
friend or through friends and like meet
Sure,
them
sure.
as like a colleague or something. I'm not like, "Oh my God, I love you." That's so embarrassing to me. But she was like, "You're coming." And she dragged me over to his table, and I took a picture of him, and I look like an idiot. Like I'm cheesing
No.
so hard. No.
Stop
what
it.
we did. That's what we
There's
did
a
with
reason
what's
I
his
didn't
name.
post the photo anywhere. It's embarrassing.
You better
Actually,
post it now.
No.
How about at the Webbies this year? Tara did the
Mm.
same thing, but she did it with what's his name from White Lotus.
Walton Goggins. Well, I will
Walter
say
Goggins.
that Jim Acosta went over first.
Oh, he did? Oh, I thought it was Tara.
Yeah, because I was talking to him and he goes, "That bald guy." He's like, "I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over." And so he started the whole conversation.
And we ended up hanging out with Walton Goggins for a while. He's the
for like a half hour.
Yeah,
he's so nice.
Nicest guy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I just love that. But no, going back to Charlie Wilson's War, man, is the scene with Gus and John Slattery, like that was Gus was my dad because my dad was that
Right.
level at that time in DC, and like so he'd have like the federal employees, and just I love the fact that like it's like, well, who said I wanted to apologize to you? Claire George said you wanted to apologize, so they refer to her as like first and last name, which is very much like a Fed thing to do, right? It's like, well, who's in charge of this? Well, Gene Poag's in charge of this. It's like, I thought it was Andy Brewington. No, it's Gene Poag, right? So just the level of detail that went into that writing was just amazing, So it was awesome,
All right. My dog
we were close.
is staring at me and letting me know by putting his paw on my chair that he has to go out.
Hagrid.
That's how Hagrid communicates with me. He actually literally puts his paw on my chair to let me know that he has to go out. And of course, I'm such a bad dog owner that I forgot to do this before the show, and we're like an hour and a half past when he has to go out. So
he's like crossing his legs, being like, "Mom,
I got to take my poor dog out before he starts barking." And Michelle knows my dog; he's very sweet, but he's going to start barking any minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, tell Hagrid I said hello.
I will. So I'm going to go. Doesn't mean that you guys have to go, but I'm going to go.
Yeah, I have a video project that I have to finish by close of business, which is not going to happen. So,
okay.
Work on that.
But yeah, hey, hit me up, Julia. We should talk. Like we should like as you're walking your dog.
I will hit you up.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be when I'm walking my dog because I have to return a few phone calls, but I will definitely hit you up. Michelle, I will obviously hit you up probably 27 more times today. And it was so good to see you guys. We'll see everybody back here.
Yeah.
Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, next week.
Next week, Taco Tuesday.
And tomorrow.
Taco Tuesday. It might be named something else. Like,
Yeah.
You never know. But we're gonna be back here Tuesday.
We got to find a set time to do this so people know when to come join us for Taco Tuesday. But you guys, we're 550 people for Taco Tuesday, which is
it's
amazing.
Pretty cool. And
we love you guys.
And tomorrow, just as an FYI, Julie and I co-host a show called Over It with JoJo from Jurors and Tara Setmayer on the Mayday Network on YouTube, which is tomorrow at noon. So come join us at the Mayday Network on YouTube.
Yeah. Mayday Network. Awesome.
Awesome. All right. See you later. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you guys.
Bye,
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.